And welcome to the fourth episode of Splat and the Honolulu Blues. Today is our first time talking about baseball. We're going to talk about your Tigers. We're going to talk about the prospects we're liking. Talk a little bit about Al Kaline. We're going to talk about the MLB as a whole and what we're excited to see when they come back from the Corona. So I'm going to start out with this question. What is one prospect that you think that MLB fans need to watch out for? My opinion, I think Luis Robert of the Chicago White Sox is somebody to be reckoned with. That dude does it all. 5-tool player, just like Trout. Guy can field really well. Guy can really swing the bat, hit well for average, brings the boom. I mean, this guy can launch them crazy far. He's a very intelligent player. And all that's shown at the minor leagues, the stats he's putting up are really great. He's the third-ranked prospect overall. I think he's going to be coming up this year, and he's definitely somebody that MLB fans need to watch out for. I think he could be one of those superstar names. And, you put him next to a guy who just came up last year, another huge prospect in Eloy Jimenez, who had a late season surge. And then they just traded for Nomar Mazara. I mean, that guy's in the perfect spot. So Luis Robert, watch out for him.
I got Nate Pearson from the Toronto Blue Jays.
Yeah.
6'6", 245. He throws 98 to 101 miles an hour. And I believe in the Rising Stars All-Star game, he reached like 104. He's got a nasty slider too. So if he figures out like the changeup and the curveball, keeps it consistent, stays healthy, he could be an ace, and he could be Cy Young winner.
I'd have to say Brendan McKay of the Tampa Bay Rays organization. He's one of those players you don't see in the American League who can hit and pitches. So he came up last year for a little. He didn't do too great in the majors, with a 2-4 record. But all of his time in the minor leagues, he never had an ERA over 2.5. So I think once he gets that all settled out, he'll be a great pitcher in the American League.
I'm looking at Riley Green of the Detroit Tigers. He's a couple years out of high school. He's 19. He is 6'3", 200 pounds, and he plays for the Western Michigan Whitecaps. He plays right field, and he bats .271 for the career in the minors. But here's the thing, guys. He is number 31 in the top 100 prospects in the MLB right now. He's number 3 on the Tigers prospect list, and he is the only Tiger outfielder, the only non-pitcher in the top 4. Which is crazy to think that we only have one batter or an outfielder in the top 4. We have a right-handed pitcher, then a left-handed pitcher, and then we have Riley Green. And I think the Tigers right now, they need more bats than anything. The pitching can wait because we have a decent rotation as it may be, but we need hitters. We need guys who can put the ball in the play, and we need good outfielders, frankly. And I think Riley Green, I've looked at some of his videos, and he's a good fielder. And when he swings the bat and makes good contact, that ball is going to the warning track almost every time. He is just an all-around beast when it comes to hitting the ball.
Absolutely. So speaking of, positive things going for the Tigers, I want to ask the question, what is the biggest positive going into this season for the Tigers?
Well, it's not their bullpen, man. I think It's their starting rotation. I think it's solid as it may. We have some good prospects coming up, but I think right now the biggest upside for the Tigers is our starting pitching, because if we can get a solid starter, a solid start to the game, and we get guys out quickly, and it's a quick through 7 with no runs, I think we'll be fine. But if we don't, then it's game over. But it's that starting pitching that I think will really drive us to win games this year.
I think it was signing Jonathan Scope and TJ Crone, because they both can hit for good power. Jonathan Scope is a great fielder, and I think they could be, if they hit for good average, and then that's a good solid 2-3-4 with maybe in between. So, and they could really help out the bats. a little bit.
I believe it has to be the development of the pitchers. You have Boyd, who he's shown glimpses that he can be great. And I don't know when Fulmer's getting back for sure, but if he can return to the form he once was, that's a huge bonus. And then just seeing if Casey Mize could come up sometime after the All-Star break. If his arm still gets back to its form it was before surgery, he can be something special.
Absolutely. I agree with you with Mize. I think the biggest, positive going into this season is going to be some of the hitting we have. I mean, I get it. We have some guys in the lineup like Jacoby Jones who couldn't hit water if he fell out of a boat. But you guys got like guys like Austin Romine hit over 280 last year. Crone brings the boom, man. I mean, that guy can launch him. Scope, who had a huge year a couple years ago. Goodrum, who can hit, pretty well. You got Maben, who the last time he was in Detroit hit over 300. And another guy that people don't talk about, but he's very good, is Victor Reyes. Victor Reyes hit over 300 last year. I mean, that I don't care where you are, what situation you're in. If you're in the MLB and you're hitting over 300, that's impressive. And of course, Miguel Cabrera. And I want to get, some of your guys' thoughts on Miguel, but my opinion, I think he's going to have a big season. I don't think he'll be back to Triple Crown form, but I think he's going to really, hit the ball well this year. I could definitely see him hitting over 300 and maybe getting around 20 home runs. I mean, he's older, his power's down, I get it, but I mean, still a guy with that much talent and putting in that kind of work in the offseason, it could be something special. So what do you guys think about Miggy?
Honestly, Matt, I agree. I agree with you. I think what we saw in spring training is just a glimpse, obviously, because it wasn't the full spring training. But I think that actually works in favor for Miggy because the regular season will start when baseball resumes. And I don't think pitchers respect him like they previously did when he won the Triple Crown. So they'll throw him some of those, pitches that they wouldn't throw him in the past. They'll throw it over the plate, and maybe he'll hit from a home run. We'll have to wait and see. But I do agree. I feel like Miguel Cabrera is back. To what extent, we, still have to see.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think he's going to have a pretty solid season. Last year, he had 282, something like that. Spring training looks really promising so far. He's making solid contact. He's hitting the ball. And, when he's hitting, the last couple of years, I feel like he's just trying to, push everything to right field. He could not hit an inside pitch. And I think if he can, start yanking the ball a little bit and, hitting, I think that'll give him more power. Although he does have power to all fields, I think that could help his average out a little bit.
I've seen the work he put in all of spring training. I've seen the results that he's hitting way better now. The only thing I'm scared of is that a back injury comes back or something. I think he could be a 300 hitter, but I could also see him missing 60 to 80 games this season.
Now, because of the back, do you put Miggy as a DH or do you leave him in the field?
Yeah.
I think you'd have to.
Yeah. I think
100%.
I'm pretty sure that they're going to lock him up as the DH for the rest of the season. So, we talked about the positives a little bit, the Tigers. I know there's a bunch of, things wrong with them, but what is the Achilles heel of the team this year? What is just going to kill them? In my opinion, I know you guys talked about the pitching rotation being good. I think that's our biggest weakness.
I said the starting lineup, and Joseph said prospects.
Yeah, the starting rotation. I mean, Boyd's a solid pitcher. I mean, maybe a little bit overrated. His ERA is a little too high, but he can really cause a lot of strikeouts. He could be a nice straight piece. The Turnbull's all right. He showed some potential, but then you look at the rest of it. I mean, Fulmer, God knows when he'll be back, but right now it's set up as Zimmerman is the 3, and I can't remember the last time he didn't get lit up. I mean, my God, what a disaster of a signing. You've got Ivan Nova, who he just keeps bouncing from team to team because he's just not playing well enough to stay on a team, And then you got Daniel Norris, who can't even get to the 5th inning. I mean, you got to – and then the bullpen. Yeah, the bullpen is a big weakness, but I think we need to focus more on this rotation. I mean, I thought they'd get some people in free agency to, help them out a little bit, but they didn't. I mean,
they don't want to spend money. I mean, they're, refusing to spend money. It's just trade and get these prospects that are they're not going to be anything ever.
Yeah.
And here's the problem. If you're a free agent and you're a decent pitcher and you know you're a decent pitcher and you see the Tigers offer come across the table and you know you're going to struggle because the team isn't solid around you, why would you want to come here?
Exactly. That's
Like,
a huge problem.
it's the same thing with the Lions and same thing with the Red Wings. Right now, we are not good. And until we get some good prospects and build our farm system and have a solid, sturdy foundation, free agents, big free agents won't want to come here because they know they're the foundation. As soon as they leave, we're down to nothing.
Mm-hmm.
So I think what's going through Avila's head is we need to build a solid foundation and prove to people, free agents, other teams that we're good before we start trying to get aggressive in free agency.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I agree with you there. So, let's talk about a former Tiger, one of the greatest Tigers ever. He unfortunately passed away recently. Also known as Mr. Tiger, Al Kaline passed away, and I'm just curious, what your guys' thoughts on that is.
I mean, obviously he was a great player. You could see it in the numbers, but I mean, like, we can't really say like too much. I mean, none of us really saw him play. I mean, he played 50s and 60s and 70s, but like from the numbers, like he was an outstanding player. Like he hit like almost 300 for his career. He hit almost 400 bombs, and he was a great outfielder. So I mean, it sucks. And after he was done with his career, he still helped out the Tigers in the organization. He would go up to spring training, help out the guys, and yeah. So yeah, it's sad to see him go.
Al Kaline, Mr. Tiger, he is the greatest Tiger to ever play the game. 18-time All-Star. I mean, what is there? He's one of the greatest players of all time. He just not even just a player. He was a good guy. As Kyle said, he after playing baseball, he went to help out the Tigers organization after he retired. There was an interview with him saying, if I didn't make the Tigers, if my career didn't turn out to what it was, I'd just be a bum on the streets. So he was all in the Tigers organization. He loved the Tigers. He appreciated everything the team did for the city. He gave back to the city that made him so famous. He was a great guy and a great baseball player. And I think that's a great, what a man. Just what a guy.
Yep.
The end of it.
You look at what Tigers have had, the biggest impact on the organization. And honestly, I mean, you could talk about Ty Cobb, talk about Miguel Cabrera, talk about all those Jack Morris, Kirk Gibson. I don't think anyone affected the Tigers organization more than Al Kaline because, if you do look back, you look back, look on the web. For that time, he did so much, not only for the organization, on the field, but he did so much off the field. Like, people came to the ballpark to see Al Kaline play. He was huge.
Mm-hmm.
He was like Magic Johnson and Larry Bird were to the NBA. They were so important. They made the organization so much better because they were there. And as Antonio said, he invested everything he had into this organization. I mean, the guy played for this team for 22 years, 18-time All-Star. Holy cow, that is a long time to be with one team. So my thoughts on it, he lived to 85, lived a great life. But it's always tough to see a legend go. What do you think, Joseph?
Well, like Kyle said, I didn't get to watch him play, but just the effect you see of the Tigers players now, he still had on him. Like Nicholas Castellano, for one, now he's a Red. But during the Tigers, you could hear that Al Kaline affected him greatly when he was there. And just he had a good impact on the players coming into the organization. He taught them how to play the game the right way. So still helped the organization after he was done playing.
So, bouncing from one unfortunate situation to another, how do you guys think that the MLB has been affected by this coronavirus?
I think it kind of sucks for the pitchers because like they have like their daily routine. You know, like if you're a pitcher, like you have your routine like before every single game or whatever, and like they got a mojo going. You know, it just kind of ruins it. Like you have 3 months off. It's like whoa, and like on MLB Network like a week or two ago, they were like interviewing Blake Snell, and they were asking him like, "What have you been doing to like stay in shape?" And he's like, "Oh, I've been doing nothing." I was like, "You've been doing nothing?" Like you just had like a terrible season. It wasn't terrible. He had like a 4 something ERA 2 years ago. He won the Cy Young, and now he's like he's not doing anything. I don't know.
Yeah.
I think it kind of sucks for the pitchers.
Yeah. I'm actually going to go against you on that one. I think, it's tougher for the hitters because here's the deal. When you take such a long break from seeing live pitching, it is very hard to adjust back, especially when the guy on the mound is throwing 95.
Yeah,
To adjust from, just sitting on your butt doing nothing to having that thrown at you. None of
yeah,
that movement those guys got on the pitches. It is so hard to adjust back like that. You like what can you do? You can't do. You take some tee work into a net in your garage. That's it, man.
yeah.
It's tough. Personally, thinking, for the league, I think personally think that they're going to end up shortening the season.
Oh yeah,
They have to.
They have to.
I think they have to. I don't think they're going to push it back. I think they're just going to, shorten it. But, I think it's going to be really interesting to see what happens. They're going to look sloppy to start. It's not going to be a pretty game. It's not going to be a pretty show at first, but I think they'll get it. But I personally think it's going to affect pitchers.
Yeah, I feel like some teams are gonna get like screwed a little bit because you have those teams, they have like a slow first half, but then like after the All-Star break, they just pop off, and then they're like in the wild card race. And like now, like with that, I don't think there's gonna be any of that because it's gonna be way shorter because we have no idea when the stuff is gonna be over.
And how much time will they give the players? Like, will they just announce okay, the league's going to be back in 2 weeks.
Right.
You can practice now. Are they going to announce like, oh, it's in a week? Just go down and try to get ready as fast as you can.
Yeah.
Because that's just going to result in a bunch of arm injuries for pitchers who haven't been like maintaining their arm like correctly. So how is that going to affect their arm?
You see,
see a lot more injuries.
That's the thing. We don't know when anything's going to happen. And I feel like when the MLB resumes, I feel like it's going to hurt them with the play because it'll be a lot sloppier as guys are not, in the rhythm of playing baseball 24/7, working out, getting ready. And it'll hurt them economically too because people want to see a really live action game. They want to see, action thrown in your face every second. They want to see strikeouts. They want to see monster home runs.
Yeah.
And the thing is, these players are not working out like they should be. And it's going to make for a slower game, which people don't like slow things because average MLB baseball game lasts 2.5 hours, right? 2 to 3. And it's going to be – yeah, it's going to be a lot slower, and it's going to hurt the ticket sales too because people are not going to want to watch slop. They could watch it at home for free.
Yeah.
So, this is actually going to be really interesting more than any other sport because the MLB is so, it's a schedule, it's clockwork, it gets players into, the momentum, it gets momentum going with them. It's just going to be interesting to see what happens and see if the play will be up to snub with fans' expectations.
So, how do Kyle and I were debating back and forth a little bit earlier about whether it's going to affect hitters or pitchers more. What do you think? Do you think it's going to affect hitters more, or is it going to affect pitchers more?
I'd have to say hitters easily.
Yeah.
These pitchers, there's ways to maintain your arm. It's not the same as like throwing a baseball like as hard as you can. But hitters, there's nothing like getting a live pitch thrown at you. Even if you have some guy throwing at you in a cage, it's not the same speed. It's not the same situation. It's nothing.
Yeah,
like it.
I agree with Joe.
It's going to affect hitters greatly.
I agree with Joseph. It's the hitters. Pitchers have ways, again, of, maintaining arm strength, maintaining flexibility. There's ways to do that kind of stuff. But, a live pitch with a crowd around you, like spring training is, because a lot of people go down to spring training to see the prospects, people screaming, all that. There's nothing that can simulate a day at the ballpark. And I think that's the most interesting thing that we'll have to see going forward is how poor will the hitting be when the MLB starts.
Yeah, I think there's going to be a very high increase in arm injuries and a decrease in batting average. I think those are the two things that are going to happen.
Yeah.
Like strikeouts probably gonna go up then too.
Yeah.
They're not seeing my pitching, but I don't know.
I think it's really going to only affect the, because college is pretty much, college season, they ended up getting canceled. High school ended up getting canceled. When you look at kind of more the, I wonder, how it's going to affect kind of like that summer travel ball guys, like the lower guys still in the minors or in a prospect league.
I wonder how the draft is gonna.
Yeah.
You haven't seen
I
these
think
guys play like real ball in a year.
I think that, yeah, that's going to be very interesting. I think like actually having the draft is going to be like what the NFL is doing with virtual, but yeah, it's going to be very interesting. Like it's really hurting MLB scouts right now because of the fact you can't see the guys play. They're done.
Yeah.
It's going to hurt them big time.
And the Tigers have another high pick, so.
Number one, perfect timing, right?
Yeah.
So kind of moving away from COVID-19, which player do you think is going to have, a bounce back season next year or, really just break out, just blow all their previous numbers away and just elevate into the next level? My opinion, I think Giancarlo Stanton's going to return back to where he was. Last year, you saw him with the Bronx, and the Bronx struggle a little bit. He ended up getting it back together at the end, but he only ended up hitting 260 and 38 bombs, whereas his last year in Miami, he hit 281 and he hit 59 home runs. I think he'll get back up there. And I think the fact that he's able to use right field more now is going to actually help him more than if he was in Miami, because that short porch in right field is a big advantage for him. So I think Stanton will really I think he'll hit over 50 home runs again, my personal opinion. I think now with the season, shortened season, you don't know, but I think he will hit at that level.
I think Blake Snell's going to come back, and I think it's going to be pretty nasty because last year, like I said, he had a 4.29 ERA and only won 6 games, barely threw over 100 innings. It was coming back from like a Cy Young season and going like that. I mean, I think he had some extra motivation over the offseason. He's going to come back pretty strong. And
I'd have to say Chris Bryant. He hasn't had any bad seasons by any means, but he hasn't been ever since like the same since that World Series year. And I think he can come back, but they might have that motivation of, what if we don't make the playoffs this year? Could this be the last run? Because they may do what the Tigers did and slowly start breaking their team apart and just trading for prospects. So I'd be interested to see if he has that motivation and trying to get his stats back up. I think he could have a bounce back year.
Mm-hmm.
I see right now especially in Detroit, I see Miguel Cabrera really making a comeback. I mean, he's lost some weight, as we said earlier. I feel like when I watched him play, I felt like I was having a flashback to a couple years ago when he was dominating the league. Just from that little glimpse I had in spring training, I feel like everyone is counting him out right now. They're saying, "Oh, that was just a fluke. He just had some bad pitchers, go up against him." But I feel like he is really going to take the league by storm again. I feel like he's going to be an all-star again. Frankly, I feel like he's really going to play well this year.
Bold prediction.
Yeah, I feel like he's going to be an all-star again.
I mean, I could see it happening. There's not a lot of great, first basemen in the American League.
Yeah.
I could see it happening.
Well, right now the Tigers has him listed as a designated hitter.
Yeah, but they
officially on the roster.
Yeah, but they can move him.
I wish they would have kept him at third base because that's when he won his Triple Crown. He was in shape. He was like ninja, he had a lot of fun, and I mean, he was hitting over 330 bombs, 100 RBIs every season. And then ever since, he kind of just got getting hurt.
No one's ever really thought of this, but since they traded away pretty much everyone they had, and Prince Fielder went on to seek other options, and Victor Martinez kind of puddled out in his career and didn't really hit like he used to. Do you think Miggy, the pressure got to his head because he was the only big hitter in the organization? He felt like he had to be Superman for everyone, hit home runs like a monster and go absolutely crazy.
I don't think so because I feel like he's pretty good mentally. I don't know, because I think he would have just kept doing his thing. I don't think that was the problem. I just think injuries got to him, and he's just like getting in these slumps, and then he just lost it.
Well, I mean, last year when his back was completely healed, do you think like the mental thing? I think it was a mixture of
Yeah,
both.
yeah, and he
Because
knows there's nobody else to help him in the lineup now. Like last year, yeah, you're right with that. I think that might have got to him. He's trying to like do it himself, and you can't. It's just no way.
definitely, I think that was one of the. That's why I think this year, since we've got a little better hitting wise, I don't think
Yeah.
we're the best hitting, but I feel like he feels a little more comfortable. He's having fun again. He lost a little
Yep.
weight. He's vibing again, which is really good to see.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. I agree with you on that All-Star take. I think he could very well do it. So moving on to, talking about guys we think we're going to have, big seasons. Who's one guy that you are really excited to watch once baseball comes back?
For me, Javier Baez, because he hits for power. He has power to all fields. His glove is insane. Like he can field very well. He's smooth and he hits for average. And he always has fun out there. Like I don't know. I think he's gonna have a great year again.
I'd have to say Fernando Tatis Jr. in San Diego. He had a great season last year. He kind of like broke out onto the show. And just with that team around him, he's a great fielder, great hitter. I think he can help the Padres get to that level where they're contenders.
All rise because the Judge is coming in to bat. I feel like Aaron Judge is going to – I'm really excited to watch this kid play. In his rookie year, he broke a lot of records. He did a lot of great things as a rookie batter and really showed, the New York Yankees really how dangerous that organization is with rookies and everything and their prospects. But I'm really excited to see him play this year because he didn't have the greatest year last year. It was a sophomore slump. I think we could all agree with that. And, I want to see him try to challenge for that batting title. I want to see if he can win the Triple Crown. I really think that this kid is going to be really dangerous moving on in his career. I feel like he's going to make a lot of all-star teams, and he's going to do a lot of crazy things.
Absolutely. For me, and we're talking about the Astros next episode, so don't even start with it. Jose Altuve. I want to see how this guy reacts to everything. I mean, you look at the stats this guy's been putting up the last 4 years. They're ridiculous.
Yeah, because they were banging trash cans.
Okay.
No.
Okay, you guys got to admit though, the Astros are about to lead the league in on-base percentage because they're just gonna be like hit every single at bat. These pitchers gonna be throwing it on. It's gonna be hilarious.
Yeah, Altuve is going to be up there, but I mean, the question is, is he going to produce that same level? Not only that, because I mean, the cheating, nobody really knows what that was,
But it's confirmed that they were cheating.
Well, yeah, I mean,
A couple years ago, there's nothing confirmed about last season.
Series.
True.
But what we need to realize is still, even with that, it's incredibly hard to put up those numbers. So I think it's going to be interesting to see are his numbers going to fall, and if so, how far, or are they going to go up? That'd be something if they went up. And I think it could. He only hit 298 last year. So
speaking of the Astros cheating scandal, do you think the MLB on the year that it was confirmed they were cheating, should future Hall of Fame ballots remove players from the Astros who are on that team because of the cheating scandal? You think it's bad?
No.
Really? You don't think it's like a Pete Rose situation where it's like
here's the thing.
Baseball.
What?
Pete Rose should be let back into baseball.
I agree, but the players, they got no punishment whatsoever.
which I think is ridiculous. The league needs to stand for something.
Yeah,
It
like
should.
this. In my opinion, I think this is like almost worse than steroids because in steroids, guess what? You don't know what pitch is coming. I mean, you still have to hit the ball pretty solid for the ball to go, right?
Yeah.
And if you know what pitch is coming at that high of a level, you're gonna smack the ball, like period. So
Yeah, I mean, I think that personally the league is weak for not punishing anyone, especially the players, because they should reprimand the Astros and they should take away the pennant, their World Series championship for that year. That would prove to me that the league has some Stugats and is able to stand on itself and actually punish organizations. Because what they're saying is don't do it and then not punishing it. It's like a kid. You got to, reprimand him so it doesn't happen again.
Right, yeah.
Because teams are knowing now that they can get away with this kind of stuff because the MLB is not strong enough. You look at the NFL, NHL, NBA. If this was done in any other sport besides the MLB, they would be reprimanded. The championships were taken away. It would be a huge thing. But the MLB needs fans as is. They like drama. They want to create something where it's attractive to people. Yeah. And I think by doing this, it's a publicity stunt to try to get fans back to like baseball because there's going to be some hatred between some teams because of the cheating scandal and such. So I think it's a poor way to make money. And I'm not a fan for the MLB for not reprimanding this team especially because it says to other teams that you can do this too and we won't do a damn thing about it.
Yeah, and who knows how long they would have been doing if they didn't get caught.
Exactly.
I mean, they could have been doing it for years and years and years. Like, oh my gosh, wow, they're so good.
I think suspensions to, Bregman, Correa, Altuve, all those who participated are necessary. Not only that, but a 1 to 2 year postseason ban. Yeah,
that's fair enough. That's or take away their championship trophy. That's my. That's
and
my.
Poor Dodgers got screwed 2 years in a row. Lost the Red Sox the year after. And
Red Sox did the same thing, but people they haven't investigated them yet.
I mean,
Cora was the guy.
Here's the thing. You're showing your fans of your sport that it's okay to do this, and they see nothing wrong with it. That's the problem. It's the morality behind, baseball, and we say, oh, baseball is America's sport. Do we just, as Americans, do you endorse cheating? Are you a steroids type of guy? Like, no, I want clean baseball where cheaters get, booted and the punishment's given out fairly. I think that's the right thing that the MLB needs to do.
Yeah. Well, the way I see it, you say that other sports leagues, they would have done it differently. The Deflategate, they didn't do it differently. They suspended Tom Brady for 4 games.
Joseph. Hey, hold up here. The MLB is doing nothing. They're not suspending anyone. That's the problem, okay?
But
at least the NFL did something. You suspend the organization from the postseason or you take away their championship trophy and all their rings. You erase that year from the postseason and you erase that from baseball history saying they cheated. They're not a part of Cooperstown Hall of Fame World Series mumbo jumbo. You say, no, the NFL did something about that. That's the difference. The MLB is doing nothing.
I agree with you. The thing is, when you win a game 49-7, just a slight deflation of the ball makes that much of a difference. And, they suspended Brady for 4 games, which a lot of people thought it was an overreaction. But this is
doing nothing.
I've ever seen. And they literally admit it. And you have the Houston Astros owner.
And then
we didn't do anything wrong. And then 50 seconds later, I know we did something wrong, but
this is also a danger for the Astros players too. Because they're getting paid to stand in a batter's box, and they know they could be a heavy ball thrown 95 miles per hour at you because they probably know they're going to get hit because of what happened.
Oh, yeah.
And so what I'm saying here is this is a danger for everyone because then the Astros pitchers are going to get mad. You threw it at Altuve. It's going to start more fights. And then if the MLB could have stopped all this by just punishing the Astros organization. The MLB is creating a bigger problem than the solution. is easier than leaving it alone. You know what I mean? Because people are going to get hurt. And, you know, we don't know. What if a pitcher slips and it hits Jose Altuve in the face and breaks his face up? We don't know what's going to happen. We don't. And what we've seen in spring training is that opposing pitchers do not like the Astros organization. They throw in on them a lot, and they do it on purpose.
So next episode, we're going to lead off, no pun intended, with the Astros. But for now, that is going to do it. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in. I appreciate it. And I hope you've enjoyed the show. And
as always, stay healthy
and classy.